So Keir Starmer has announced ahead of the budget a real genius policy. Labour will increase the bus fare cap from £2 to £3. Now, why are they doing this? The Prime Minister told an audience in Birmingham that the money to fund the £2 cap would run out at the end of 2024 and that the Labour government would then not be able to keep it at the same level after that. The decision by the Prime Minister and Chancellor comes despite heavy lobbying by Labour's elected mayors to keep the cap in place, as revealed last week by The Guardian. Starmer insisted on Monday that working people would welcome such decisions as a necessary part of fixing the public finances after 14 years of Conservative government. So essentially, the government was funding this £2 fare cap, the last government anyway, and that Labour are not willing to continue the funding. We've heard for months about how they can't do anything because of the finances, which no one buys that anyway. But it's last line on how working people would welcome the decision. Are you insane? I mean, it's working people who are actively being made poorer. That £1 will add up. Now, Labour have had this contradictory line, which is, we will make people's lives better whilst also having to make tough decisions. It's one or the other, right? The country rejected the Tories because they chose tough decisions. People are expecting Labour to do something different. Now, policy aside, optically, this is so bad. I mean, who thought this policy would go down well? Literally no one. It proves once again that Labour have no clue about politics and they are there by luck. They fell up into power. Of course, we've been saying this for years. I've been saying this for years, but now they are being exposed to the people because they're in government. Now, thankfully, someone has rejected this incredibly stupid policy. Andy Burnham has said single bus fares in Greater Manchester will continue to cost £2 for the whole of 2025, despite the maximum that can be charged across England rising to £3. The region's mayor said he was able to cap single fares at £2 because of steps he took to regulate the system and bring buses back into public ownership from last year. And there we have it. Buses are nationalised in Manchester, meaning keeping the cap low will cost far less because you don't need to account for the profits of private contractors. Now, Andy Burnham, if I'm honest, he is someone I used to really dislike, has been so much better since he left the Westminster bubble and is doing a great job as mayor. These are practical, simple solutions, but Labour are so ideological, they don't like public ownership. Now, of course, there are many ways of funding this cap. You could borrow, or if you want to push the fake or false household budget myth, then raising taxes on the rich will do. And I'm very happy for Labour to say, well, we can't afford it, therefore the rich will pay more. Again, that's not necessarily how the economy works, but I'm not going to stand in the way of the rich paying a bit more. But they won't do that, and in fact, they can't do that because Labour received a huge amount of money from private capital, one in particular, Quadrature, a firm based in the Cayman Islands with investments in arms, private healthcare, and the oil industry. So you see, they can't raise their taxes, can they? I often wonder how stupid those who are currently running the Labour Party are, or how out of touch they are. And this quote from Starmer shows how far removed from what the people need in this country. I do know that this matters, particularly in rural buses, and that's why I'm able to say to you this morning that in the budget, we will announce there will be a £3 cap on bus fares until the end of 2025, because I know how important it is. So that'll be there in the budget on Wednesday. He's framed this increase in the cap as a good thing. He's saying, look at us. We're implementing a £3 cap on buses for 2025. Will you thank us? No, because you're increasing the cap. People just want simple solutions from their government. Most people aren't like me, where they're calling for the complete emancipation of the working class, where workers own the means of production, although I wish they would. But people want things to work, good services, functioning transport, and actually keeping most of their wages. It's not a big ask, but successive governments deny this. It's always got to be filtered through the privatisation agenda. It's always got to be bureaucratic, and it's always got to benefit private capital in some way or another. And if you question that, you're given bullshit excuses such as, oh, we need to make tough decisions, we can't afford it. I tell you what, people were sick of it when the Tories said this for 14 years, and they're sick of it now. I don't want to be I told you so, but for years I've been saying that Labour is ideologically and practically virtually the same as the Tories, and we won't get meaningful change with them. I just want to say to everyone who's been watching us for years or who's just joined the channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing. Now this channel started with just me, all right? Me and my busted up laptop, my old iPhone in, in a Nottingham small little flat. And now I'm happy to say it's growing. Things look a lot better than before. We now have 5 people who contribute to Turn Left rather than 1. And that was always the goal, by the way. Never wanted it to just be me. But we're still all voluntary and we're trying to juggle this around our full-time work. It means that sometimes things go wrong, such as live shows going late because we're having to put a script together after we finish work at 5 or 6 p.m. Sometimes there's cancellations. Means we can't create content every single day, which we want to do. And we really want to grow this platform, but of course it takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment, but you guys can help. And there are many ways you can do it. You can, one, like this video and like all of our other videos when you happen to watch it. You can share this across social media, share it with your friends and family. And the third thing, if you can support us financially because things cost money. Turn Left virtually makes no money. I'm going to be transparent. We make about £400 a month. That goes on operational costs. That goes on equipment. That goes on streaming software. You have to pay for that. No one makes any money personally from it. So if you can support us by going to turnleftmedia.co.uk/support. There you can support us through the Patreon account, which is a monthly donation. You can choose how much you want to spend. Or there's another link there, which means you can do any one-off donation. This will really, really help. And if we can draw some kind of income, we can slowly get to the point where we can leave our other jobs and start actually working for a wage for Turn Left. We want to become full-time. 5 full-time people for Turn Left means you'll get content every single day. Very, very ambitious content too. Not just, commentary videos, not just live shows, but mini documentaries, more vox pops, more interviews. And one day to have a studio, to have more and more people work for Turn Left. This is the goal. And I know it's going to be a long time coming. I mean, this channel's been around for 4 years. It's not fast growth, but you guys can really, really help. So I really appreciate if you consider becoming a supporter. But again, if you can't, just like and share our content. Comment, that helps the algorithm. And also it knows that you're engaged. It tells us whether you're enjoying the content, if there's anything we're missing. We also have an email address, contact@turnleftmedia.co.uk. If there's any stories we're not covering and you feel like we should be, drop us an email. We will read them. I can't guarantee that we'll get around to every single story, but we will read them and we will consider them. And, this kind of makes it more of a citizens or journalism platform. But again, I want to thank everyone who supported us along this journey. And I'm really, really excited to see what we can do in the future.
Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn Left.